All right, so I'm in Pacifica at a location that I've painted before. It's been a while since I've been out plein air painting. Over a month actually, just because the weather's been really bad, lots of rain, and then there was the holidays. My goal today is pretty simple. Just get out here, get set up, and just do a painting, no expectations. And so let me show you my setup. I'm using Liquin, which is fast drying medium from Winsor & Newton. I've got a small brush cleaner here with some odorless mineral spirits. This container has extra liquid in it. I got a palette knife here, an assortment of brushes, one bright and then two flats. This is a 10, this is a 10, and I believe this is a 6. Also have a little brush, which I believe is a 2 for sketching. And then a simple palette here of titanium white, cadmium yellow medium, yellow ochre, burnt sienna, alizarin crimson, that's ultramarine blue, and then some phthalo blue. And I've got a 12-inch square masonite panel that I primed myself. All right, as usual, you know, I'm really drawn to composition. So I'm thinking something like this. All right, so here's the sketch so far. We've got the Marin headlands up here. Here's the cliff that I'm focusing on. There's some dark rocks along the bottom that'll kind of give it some definition. Also some rocks up here. This will be white water in this section here. This is foreground cliffs. And that's about it. right, so let's review the steps here. So first, I came up with a composition that I liked. Then I did a sketch in burnt sienna. And then I started working dark to light, you know, approximating colors and getting them on quickly. I'm kind of using loose paint. I'm loosening it up with the liquid. And I like to have areas of sort of transparent paint where you can kind of see the white of the panel. I didn't used to do that. I used to use more opaque paint, but now I've gone to using more transparent colors and applying them in a kind of transparent, sketchy way. That's a trick that you watercolor artists would know of already. You know, watercolors use the white of the paper to create illumination. So that's kind of what's going on here. The other thing I want to say is that I'm gonna not do much more. I've only been working a half hour. I want a quick sketch, and then I'm gonna bring it home and do the minimal amount of touch-ups to get this thing to work. It's really hard when you're out in the field it's really hard to judge if you've gone too far. So I always err on the side of not going too far, of just like doing a sketch and saying, wow, okay, that's pretty loose. Because when you get it back to the studio and you put it in a frame, oftentimes, even if it's super sketchy, it works and there's more energy. So I always err on the side of, you know, not doing too much, leaving it unfinished, or at least what I feel is unfinished in the field, because when I get it inside, yeah, it always looks different. So I can never really fully trust my judgment when I'm outdoors. But anyway, let's take a look. There's a few blank spots that I may touch up. Also the sky around the horizon, I need to lighten up right above the mountains and then maybe darken the water a little bit in the distance. But other than that, I'm gonna kind of leave it the way it is. I like all the energy in the cliffs. Okay, so I lightened up the sky, especially right over the mountains, and then also kind of darkened along the horizon, but then there's a bit of a fog over the water, so I kind of put that in as well. I kind of, with a small brush, I put in some shadows around the rocks to help with the feeling of light. Also right in here, some purplish color, again for the same purpose. And what else? Thing I want to point out is there are still a few pops. See this dark here and this dark here? Those are too dark, and those need to be covered up because they're in the distance, and because they're so dark, it just really pops out. Those should be, because of the atmosphere, those darks should be a lot lighter. I also kind of broke up the rocks here so that it's not like a straight line. Put some directional strokes in here to indicate the movement of the water. Also some directional strokes on the sand to create, you know, suggest the surface plane of the beach there. And I'm just gonna leave it like this. I'm gonna actually touch up these little spots, but that's about it. I'm gonna leave it like this. All right, so it's really helpful to have kind of a go-to spot for plein air painting, especially when you're trying to get back into the groove. As I said, Pacifica is kind of like that for me. It's only 15 minutes from home, and it's just really beautiful out here. So even if I don't get a good painting, I really do enjoy myself. So anyway, but as usual, let me know if you have any questions, comments down below. And let me know if you'd like me to do a sit-down Q&A type video. I'd be happy to answer any questions regarding this video or other topics. The sky's the limit. Anyway, I'm gonna pack up and get out of here, but thanks for hanging out, guys. I will see you in the next video.